What's up? How we doing? That was fun. Those are all those podcasts done at home, at 10:30 in the morning with no pants on, No, I'm just kidding. Kind of. Just kidding. Good morning. How we doing? Who had fun last night? Who wants Tori and Adam to do that again tonight? Who wants to do them every single night? I love it, man. Well, you really messed up now because we know what we're doing next year. So thank you so much. That was incredible. Incredible. I'll tell you what, the level of just engagement with those events. Where is TC? Where is my beautiful wife? Unbelievable. Give her a round of applause. She's just, I could see the excitement build all week for her. And then on Friday, she wakes up, she goes, all right, it's the Super Bowl today. And she's not talking about this event. She's talking about the party. So really, really fun. I know she said we were done. And I think somebody, I forget who it was, looked at me and goes, TC just said we're done. I know that's not true. So really, really cool. Man, these events are more than just fun, and I'm going to talk about that today. I teased on it a little bit yesterday, but the level of connection and conversations that you guys had last night is just so cool, so good. Every time I turned around, somebody's in a corner having a conversation, and somebody's dancing, and somebody's talking to somebody new, and I heard there was 100 people in a room last night for the after party. Yeah. And Nick said he would love to host you tonight, but company policy, no can do. Can't do it. Can't do it. He'd love to, but he can't do it. So, but no. So welcome to day 2. Huge momentum yesterday. Rod, your opener was one of my favorites. The fact that you just sat on the stage and took it in, it's how I metaphorically felt when I was sitting in the stand. So I just appreciate everything that you've done and everything we've done up to this point. So today we're going to go on a little bit of a journey. And my opportunity today is to lead you through, hopefully, a conversation that inspires you, but more importantly, empowers you. It gives you a roadmap when you leave here to where we can take this message and we can do what we have always done and spread it. And so, what I'd ask you today is when you look at a wildfire, I think someone had mentioned it, Taylor mentioned it yesterday, it starts with a spark. So what is your spark? So take a moment before here. If you didn't write this down during what is your thing you're looking for? What is the idea either drew you to this place or you have developed it over time? Write it down. Through this weekend, what do you want? What is it that you're after? Creating extraordinary lives is the mission of this company, but what does that mean to you? What does that mean to you? Could be an idea. Could be a destination. Super important. A wildfire can't start without a spark, and it certainly can't rage without a spark. But what is your spark? What is your spark? And while you're writing that down, keep writing. I get an opportunity to talk to you today, but man, Taylor's, what was is amazing because he's just a different human. And I feel like a lot of you that are new, and some of you have only been here a couple of years, like you see somebody on stage that's having an opportunity to speak, but man, I just wish you could go back 15 years and where there's just this idea bred. My best friend in the world, Mr. George Travis, is here for the first time. Give him a round of applause. He's been here, we've known each other for 20 years. And he's probably nod his head and be like, oh yeah, I know that guy, And it's this spark. And every day you get to wake up and you get to work on that. And if you keep that in your mind, it can grow into this ember. And that ember can get a flame. And that flame can grow into something great. But it starts with a spark. And I guess what I wanted to just challenge you today is, man, like, the opportunity to be able to do that is so profound. I was in an Uber ride. I just got back from Amsterdam. It was an amazing trip, by the way. That city's incredible. I would highly recommend. That's just ridiculous. And I'm on the way back from the airport, and there's an Uber ride, TCR in the car. And this gentleman was coming. He came from Morocco. He's been here 28 years. Had a great conversation with him, and I was like, man, how'd you come to this country? And he's like, well, I got a visa when I was a kid, and I was a lottery in Morocco. And I was like, wow, that's incredible. Well, did you know the language? First of all, when you're in another country, I have a new respect for not being able to speak the language. You feel very small. You feel very intimidated. It's scared. Like I felt like even the simplest things were difficult, right? It took a lot of courage to be able to do that. It's actually a really cool experience because you don't really understand what that looks like. I didn't. And he told me that, no, I didn't know the language. I said, okay, well, you must have had family members here. He goes, no, I didn't have any family members here. I was walking by the embassy, and they were doing a lottery for visas, and I put my name in the hat. And I just so happened to win. Now, and I was like, holy smokes. Okay, well, it must have been, obviously it's an opportunity, right? I was like, well, he goes, well, I was college educated. I had a law degree in Morocco, and I couldn't get a job. For years, I looked for years. I was the highest educated that you could be, and I could not find a job. So I looked around and I said, well, what am I really giving up? What do I have to lose? And so what he told me was it was for the chance, just the chance. So he left his whole family, nobody, no language. He didn't know English one drop, and he moves to this country to pursue for the chance, for the opportunity. And a lot of us are sitting in this room and we look at this and we say, man, I have an opportunity. But do you really know what that means? Are we entitled to opportunity because we live in this country? Do we take it for granted that you have the chance to build whatever you want to build? I have goosebumps because I do. It's a reminder. The chance in and of itself is the prize. The fact that you can is a gift. It's a gift. A lot of people don't have that opportunity. So today, when you sit through this for the next hour and a half, however long we go, I would ask you the question, do you take what you wrote down, do you take the fact that it can happen for you for granted? Or does it take courage to say, you know what, I'm going to pursue this? But does it take enough awareness to know that you live in a place where that is possible and you are in a company where it can be possible? And there are people right next to you who are making it a reality. And all of it started with a spark. And sometimes that spark isn't from you. Sometimes the spark's from a person that you run with. Sometimes that spark's from somebody around you. So, would you guys agree that last night do you guys have besides the hangover that everybody has in this room right now? Because I know you're buzzing from that, but is there a glow? Do you feel the feeling that you feel in this room? Do you feel the feeling that you had last night? And is it different than where you've been in the past? Raise your hand. Is it just different? You can't put your finger on it. You don't know what it is, but there's just something different. You tried to call back home. Honey, how was it? It was awesome. Well, what did they talk about? I don't even know. But it was awesome. You know? I don't know. I can't explain it. Because there's this feeling that exists here. There's a feeling that you feel right now that you felt the whole weekend that's intentional. And I believe because that feeling is felt because you know something special. You know that what you wrote down is possible. You know that you are in a place right now that could change your life and that could change your family's life. 15 years ago, I'm using food stamps and trying to go to Publix to get out as fast as I can because I have no money. I sat on the floor of our apartment when I found out I was pregnant because there was no way for me to pay for a kid. And we laughed and we cried, and we laughed and we cried. By the way, the only apartment that I was able to do was because of a family friend that had kicked their son out, and we were at home living in my parents' house. And this is the reality. And today I stand in front of you and we have a multi-million-dollar organization. We have people that are now that are building seven-figure businesses. There is a list of people that are lined up to have massive success. There's people more fulfilled in their life than they ever have been. There's impact all around here. And the feeling that you feel inside is something that says, I don't know what this is, but this might be my shot. And I believe that is because we don't subscribe to the traditional beliefs. And if you want to know the truth and you want to know proof of that, just go to the Telegram. You'll see Seth's shirt off last night, dancing in a company feed. Who posted that? I woke up this morning and I said, it's Irvin Young. But Matt Van Velsen came to me last night and he said, man, all you got to do is show people what you guys do, and the feeling that they're going to get that I feel in this room, you'll sign up as many people as possible. And I was like, stick around for tomorrow, friend, because we're going to talk about that. But here, it's the office beliefs. It's the office buzz that you feel. How many people have that in the office? When it's buzzing and you're just I just get addicted to it, man. It's so fun, right? You know when you walk in and just everyone's on one, right? And it's just buzzing, and you feed off of it. Joan's got his cape on, you know? Devin hadn't looked at one person in 6 hours. But there's a feeling in the room, right? And here's what I believe. I believe we don't think like everybody else. And I think that's the feeling that you feel. I think that's what creates a lot of this feeling, that opportunity, that spark inside of you. Is because let me walk you through what traditional business believes. It's a zero-sum game. Meaning there's only so much. And once it's taken, you're taking away from other people. There's only room for so many at the top. Competition over collaboration. How about this? Profit over culture. Work-life balance. We hire for skills. We recruit trained talent away from other competitors because it's easier than training them. We value good professionals. Man, you can't work with your friends. That's way too hard. We want to be the best insurance agency in the insurance business. And you can go way faster by yourself. Here's what we believe. Success is created. Therefore, it is unlimited. You don't capture success. You create success. And I'll prove it to you in a little bit. There's room for everyone to achieve in a growth environment. We talk about growth and you say, is it just for growth's sake? No, because growth environments mean everybody wins. There are new positions being created because of growth. People are being promoted because of growth. You're able to move out of the way because there's growth. In a growth environment, all ships rise on the tide. We believe in collaboration over competition. Independent operators, you are not competing with each other. You are collaborating. You are collaborating. Just because my brother and I used to play one-on-one and he'd kick my ass doesn't mean we weren't collaborating. We were competing, but we were collaborating. You can have friendly competition, but the fact of the matter is, if somebody needs help, you help them. We believe that. That's the culture that we have. We believe in work-life integration, not work-life balance. Balance is for cowards. Integration says, I love what I do and I do what I love. I live on purpose, as Bob talked about. We develop people from outside the industry. We value extraordinary human beings over skill. We hire on character over skill. We look for culture fits over skill. And we want to be the best personal development company inside the insurance business, not the best agency. And lastly, we can go way farther together. What we do tomorrow has zero relevance other than the person that it makes of you to stick to your commitment. But what we do over the next 5-10 years determines where we're going to end up. And when you work as a team, you have so much more leverage. Leverage. So when I look at that, the common theme when I looked at these two side by side, it was very clear to me that sharing our gifts, our success, this opportunity, creates more of it. it creates more opportunity. Would you agree that there's more opportunity in here today than when Matt was first hired back in Eustis? Yes or yes? All right, for those of you that don't hear me speak, when I say yes or yes, we say yes. Yes or yes? Yes. Yes or yes? Yes. All right. So when Matt started, there wasn't this. We weren't having omelet stations out front. By the way, that was pretty dope. And the tomahawk was legit too. I'm just going to say that. Right? There's more opportunity today than there was when he started. Why is that? Because the more that we share our gifts and our opportunities, the more success that's created. Watch, stay with me. This is how it works, right? If I take $1 and I deposit into a lot of people think that there's a money supply. There's a certain amount of money supply. I capture that is. It takes away from somebody else. But if I take $1 and I put it in the bank can lend out 10 times what they have in deposits. That's how it works. They literally create money out of thin air. I correct $1 million, I lend out 10. People just got 10 million. That's how this works. If I take my gifts and I put a seed, it creates more. That's how it works. When you share this opportunity or you get with a referral partner, you help a client, they tell 15 more people, it creates more opportunity. But we're so conditioned to think that as long as I get, I'm taking from somebody else. No, the more you give, the more you'll receive back. Sounds like faith to me. That's what living by faith is. When people say live in abundance, that's what it means. It means let it go and it'll come back to you. They've been trying to tell us this for ages. The best books on the planet. Here's a quote from Matthew 25:29. For to everyone who has, more will be given, and he will have abundance. But for him who does not have, even what he has will be taken away. Zig Ziglar said it, you can have everything you want in life if you'll just help other people get what they want. These are not just poetic things that sound good. It's the way the world works. It is what others know that most don't. That if you give, you will receive. But the problem is you have to release your grip from it. You have to be in service. So sharing what you do with your clients, sharing what you do with your referral sources, sharing what you do with your team members, sharing what you do with prospective new team members creates more opportunity for you. So here's what I want you to do. I need you to link what you wrote down, what you want. What you wrote down on your paper right now, that spark for what you want, I need you to right now, I need you to anchor it. I need you to write down something you're going to do to give to another human being, to give when you leave this place that is going to give you what you want. I want whatever it is. Well, then how many people do you need to help with closings, Gian? How many people do you need to create opportunity and share that with people, right? Tori wants to build a massive agency. How many people do I have to bring into my organization and help them have success? Sharing our gifts creates more opportunity. It's a cycle. And what's interesting about this is we have an old model and we have a new model. And here's what I mean. Teach a man to fish instead of giving him a fish, another parable, right? That's sharing, correct? But I didn't say give him the fish. He didn't say give him the fish. He said share with them your gift of knowing how to fish. Well, if we look at the old model versus the new model, stay with me. Look at this. There's a paradigm shift that's occurred in the last 3 years. There's owning all the leadership. We used to own all the leadership. We used to do all this ourselves, right? We used to do all the lead gen. We used to generate all the leads. We used to own the market making. We'd go into a market, we'd make the market. But look what's happened. Look what's happened. Sharing the opportunity. This is what it means. Sharing in leadership. Opportunity for others. Sharing lead generation. Some of you have kicked and screamed because you got a lead gen, but you don't want what you don't want. Write that down. Don't want what you don't want. Someone's like, well, it's hard. Well, the only reason there's opportunity is because it's hard. Because there's an opportunity to share in lead gen is the reason you get a chance to fulfill the spark that you wrote down. Don't want what you don't want. And sharing market making. Share market making. Look at Chris. Chris is now going off to build his dream. We've got markets in all different areas. That doesn't happen when you hold on to it. You share the opportunity, all of a sudden it creates more opportunity. Do you guys see what I'm saying within this model? Do you see what's happening? This isn't Urban Young, this is just life. But we need to understand how this works. It is getting every single one of you the opportunity to get farther up the value creation funnel. Up the value creation funnel. You come in, you don't know anything. You're able to file the mail. And as you move through the skill sets of value creation, there becomes more demand for what you do. There becomes more demand for your skill set. And as a result, there's less people who can do it. You know why it's hard? Because less people can do it. But there's less people that can do it means the higher demand, which means the more valuable it is. Yes or yes? Yes. Don't want what you don't want. Leadership is the same way. How many leaders in the room? How many aspiring leaders? Look, you got to lead yourself before you lead others. How you act and how you commit to the own disciplines that you decide will dictate if you are a future leader or not. Those 10 core commitments, a lot of you came up to me and said, I'm going to be part of core next year. Love that. Should be a goal everybody has. But you got to lead yourself. When the alarm clock goes off and you don't want to get up, that's a leadership moment. When you got to make your 2 exposures and it's 4:59 and you're going to leave and you stay to make those calls, that's a leadership moment. And why is it important? Because it's allowing you to get farther up the value creation funnel. And the farther you go, the higher the skill set, the more demand it is, and the less people in supply to be able to do it. The bigger the prize, the bigger price to pay. In order for us to get better answers with what we want, we got to ask ourselves better questions. Depending on what you wrote down as far as your spark is going to dictate what price is required to get it. Some of us are frustrated that we don't get our prize, but we have false expectations of what is required. And part of good leadership and love and being there for somebody is also being able to tell them things that they need to hear. Hey, you want this, but you're not willing to pay the price. A lot of us have big prizes in the room. Ask yourself this question. Am I willing to pay the price? I was willing to pay the price. I'm still willing to pay the price. I'm hungrier today than I ever have been, and I'm a leader in progress. But I swear to God, the only person that could probably beat me on a treadmill is Eric Atzma. Because I'm willing to pay the price. Are you willing to pay the price? Know where you are in your process. Know where you sit. All of you sit in different places right now. Some of you are in achievement mode. Some of you are in achievement mode. You sit on top of the step. You sit on top of the step. You started the year and you sacrificed. You said, I'm going to be here early. I'm going to stay late. I'm going to sacrifice. I'm not going to socialize and be as social as everybody else. I'm going to watch YouTube videos when I go home. I'm going to read these extra books about sales and influence. I'm going to ask more questions. I'm willing to sacrifice. And so what you did was you started to put pressure on yourself. You put pressure and you got uncomfortable. And through that pressure, you grew and you stepped up. And today is your day when you get to stand on one more step and you get achievement. That's huge, man. That's huge. Recovery is important. I didn't realize this. Recovery is very important. Otherwise, you'll burn out. Take the moment to recover. I think Joanne said, I'm really excited, man. Yeah, I'm excited for next year. I said, hold on, man. Pump the brakes here for a second. Do you remember this conversation? I was like, hold on, pump the brakes here for a second. You gotta recover, man. You gotta take the time to enjoy this. What good is it to push all year if you don't sit in this? Because if you anchor that emotion, you'll be tied to it for the rest of your life. If you miss it, when it gets tough, you'll forget how this feels. It's easy to win right now. You got to remember what that feels like. You got to take the moment to recover. And guess what? You go right back to sacrifice. You go right back to sacrifice. You put more pressure on yourself. You go to bed at night and you ask yourself all these questions. You're on your knees praying, say, give me strength. Your will be done. I don't know if I can do this. I don't feel worthy. And you just tighten the vice. And the higher you go, the more the vice grips down. I wish I had better news for you that the pressure gets less. It doesn't. It doesn't. But you get addicted to this. You get addicted to that. That step is so much better than the pressure. That step is so much better than pressure, but you got to know where you're at in the cycle. How many people feel like they're in their sacrifice stage right now? Raise your hand. How many people? Look at that. Look around the room. Look around the room. You are not alone. You are not alone. Look at that. You have a community of people that are in the same boat as you are. Everybody's got different circumstances, but this is universal. This happens for every person. It doesn't matter. And no matter where you sit on this continuum, it will change. You never stay there long. You never stay there long. If you're feeling the pressure and you're growing, I promise you, you won't be there long. So enjoy the pain, baby, because it ain't going to be there forever. And if you're sitting on the achievement, don't get too comfortable because you're going to go right back to the grit. The feeling that you guys feel, that you know that this opportunity is something special for you and maybe for people that you know or people that haven't even been in this room yet. You say, man, maybe this is my chance. It's because there was a select group of people who decided to share this with other people and decided to take this flame and spread it like wildfire. And where we sit now today is just different. It's just different. I felt it yesterday. Matt, having you here is amazing, man. Had so much fun with you last night. It brings such a cool energy to this group, and he brings so much experience. Where we sit so different. And so this feeling that you feel in this room, that is the wildfire. That is what we go and we get to share that. We get to share that with other people. We get to share that with referral sources. Referral sources, oh, well, they have the same carriers. I have a guy. Oh, I have a gal. Oh, yeah, they do a good job. They don't have this. They don't have this. I'll get into this later, but they're not you. They don't have this team. They don't have this drive. They don't have this heart. And if you think that doesn't matter more than what carriers you haven't been around this business long enough. So how do we spread it? How do we spread this like wildfire? I got a couple thoughts I want to share with you today. Number one, we got to know the makeup of a fire. When you see a wildfire, it can burn out of control. But that's not how it starts. It starts with a spark. And then what's the hottest part of the fire? What's the hottest part of the wildfire? Anybody? What's that? The outside. The outer ring of the fire. Why? Oxygen goes out? Okay. Perfect. Anybody else? It's very good. There's more fuel. Both of those are right. There's more fuel. What happens if there's no fuel? Fire goes out. Fire goes out. Interesting. There's a spark, which is the founders, people that have been here. There's an idea. It's what you wrote down. But then there's fuel. There's the outer ring. And right now your outer ring might just be in your little circle. You might have been here for 2 days. You're just a spark. But at some point, there'll be an outer ring. But in this room, in this organization, I'll tell you how it goes. Where are the new people? Raise your hand. New people, you are the outer ring of this company. If you've been here less than a year, raise your hand. You are the outer ring of this company. You are the outer ring. You are the fuel. You are the people who get lit on fire that everybody wants to come around to see what's going on. The people who have been here for 10 years, they know what's going on. But the new people in any organization are the outer ring. They are the fuel. They're the ones that are the most important. Because if they don't get it and they're not nurtured and they don't get the help, the fire goes out. Our core team members are the oxygen. You said oxygen. Why is that important?
Because the fire has to have it or it'll die.
The fire has to have it or it'll die. What's the difference between a fire burning fast or a wildfire burning slow? Wind. You ever try to fight a fire in the when you have a high amount of wind, it's near impossible. You just get out of the way. You can't stop it, right? Write this down. Our core team members, they are the accelerator of the wildfire. They are the accelerator. If you're in core, your number one job is to get with new team members in this room. It's the new team members in this room. Nurture them, mentor them, help them, make sure they have what they need, make sure they have questions answered, make sure they know that they're important. Because without them, your opportunity is limited. They don't have to want what you want. They don't have to have as big aspirations as you do. They just showed up. They don't even know what they want. If some of them had a hard time even writing something down. But they do need to know that they're important because they are important. Because without them, your opportunity is limited. Shout out to Miguel. He made this awesome diagram, by the way. Where's Miguel at? Give him a round of applause. Really cool. Really cool. But you see how this works, guys? And here's what's interesting. So the diameter of a wildfire, does it grow linearly? Does it grow linearly or exponentially? Exponentially. So it takes a long time for that little fire to deliver a small cone. But once it gets big, you got a big problem because it starts to burn out of control, like just get out of its way because all of a sudden, overnight it doubled. Overnight it doubled. It took 10, 12 years to get to this point. Overnight it doubled. How did they do that? They must be doing something different. Nope, just more fuel. There's more fuel. There's more oxygen. Same thing, same system, same playbook. There's just more fuel and there's more oxygen. So ask yourself the question, are you the fuel or the oxygen of this when we leave here today? What's your job within the role? What's your job within this fire? Where do you sit? Where can you contribute? How can you be part of it? It's important. Everybody has a role to play. And there is no better or worse. The bottom line is what I want to make a point is the new team members, you are extremely important. It is important that you get what you want here. I will repeat that again. It is important that you get what you want here. Because if you don't get what you want here, we're not doing our job. Now, you have to be willing to pay the price. I can't pay the price for you. You have to be willing to pay the price. But if you're paying the price and you're doing the deal, it is the job of myself, the leadership, and this core group to make sure that you have everything that you need to be able to create what you need to. Because success is created, it's not captured, which means you can create it. Number one is pour into new team members. That's the first thing we're going to do when we leave here. We have a mentor program that we put together in core. We have a whole game plan of how we're going to do that. When we leave here, make sure you have every new person's phone number. Make sure they know that they can call you at any time. Make sure you are promoting the events, promoting the calls, encouraging them to participate in their own rescue. Make sure you're around and you're available to be able to help them. If we pour into our new team members, then they will want to pour into others. Because there's 20 new people here. There was 40 last year, there's 60 here. That's 50% more people year over year. What do you think next year is going to look like? Do you think there'll be more new people or less new people? More. It is very important that people don't get lost in the system. It's very important. It's big. It's bigger. It's easy to get lost. It's easy to stay with the people that you're close to and be cliquish. We don't do that shit here. We include people. It's important. All right, so let's look at the second thing. So we know the structure of a wildfire. You guys with me? Yes or yes? Yes. All right, we've seen the structure of a wildfire. Now we're going to look at the science of spreading an idea. Okay? This is really cool. So if we want to leave here and we want to translate this feeling, if we knew that this wildfire is this feeling that we're going to spread, right? We want to spread it to our clients. We want to spread it to our referral sources. We want to spread it to our new team members. And we want to spread it to anybody that needs to know about this opportunity in any market across the state and across the Southeast, okay? How are we going to do that? Well, we need to understand how ideas go viral. They go viral. Number one is simplicity. It's got to be simple. Ideas have to be simple. Who's seen Inception? Oh, man. Who's seen it 4 times? I love it. It's all the dudes. All right. It has to be simple. An idea has to be simple enough in its basic form. Why? Because it has to be shareable. It has to be shareable. Stories are how we understand the world, and stories make the complex simple. Write that down. Stories make the complex simple. Every great communicator spoke in stories. There's a reason for that. Success leaves clues. That's a clue. So if you can't tell a good story, you don't know your story, you don't know the story of Urban Young, then you are not going to be able to leave here and be able to articulate that. And you might be able to articulate that, but if it's not simple, when you tell the story to somebody else, they can't share it with somebody else. Because ideas go 2, 3, 4 levels deep. I tell a referral source how I helped them with a client because I had some sort of product, and they tell somebody in their office who tells somebody in their office who then calls me, and someone goes, man, I don't understand how you get so many referrals. This is a translatable to any type of influence. Okay? You want 5-star reviews? This is a good one too. You want referrals? This is a good one too. You want to be a good recruiter, independent operators, team leads? This is a good one to learn. It's simplicity of a story that makes an impact that allows something to go viral because it's shareable. Number 3 is it's got to be authentic and it's got to be true. Things that are true and authentic always find their way to good people. If you are telling something that's not true, you are going to be in a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. And will you do me a favor? Will you grab me a water? Thanks, buddy. Because authentic and true statements, they pull people in. It has to be authentic to you. You can't tell something that I would tell, Rob. You got to tell it in your own way. Because somebody looks at you and goes, you just told me a story in like an accent. I don't know what you're doing, right? It's like, that's not you. It's got to be authentic to you. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. It's got to be authentic to you, and it's got to be true, okay? Number 4 has to invoke a sense of personal pride. Why is that important? Why is that important? Anybody? I don't have any oranges to throw at you. That was really cool. You throw it at me in the light. Anybody want to take a guess? Why is that important to spreading an idea? Ownership. Interesting. Okay. To own it. Okay. Because you have passion in it. Because you have confidence in it. Okay. Posture. Okay. You have to. Somebody has to want to share it. They might be able to share it. It might be true, but they have to want to share it. Very important. Very, very important. We're going to go through an exercise. I'm going to teach you guys how to do a quick story framework. You're going to leave here and know how to tell any story, okay? But you've got to structure it in a way that the person that you're telling it to says, man, I want to share this. This matters to me specifically, therefore I'm going to want to share it. So if it's about somebody else or something, you have to connect it to the person that you're telling it to where it would be important to them. Right? Important. Important. So let's do that. Let's do that. Well, let's go back. Let's do that. If you open up your packet real quick to the storytelling section, there is a story activity I want to run through real quick with you. While you're getting that, I want to play this video because it does a really good job of highlighting the third one here, and I thought it was powerful. Confidence sells. Who said that? Joan? Did you say that, Joan? Is that right? Let's see if this works here. Confidence sells. What he means is, I'm saying something true and I believe it. It's a transfer of belief. So just start with what's true and what you know and what's true to you. Authenticity is a powerful, powerful agent in spreading an idea and a feeling. Okay? So who's got their story framework out? Can I get one of those packets from you? We're going to lead this through. So, all right. So there's five components. What I want to do is I want you to be able to leave here. Who struggles with being able to tell a story in under 30 seconds? Yes? Who doesn't want to raise their hand because they're just embarrassed to raise their hand? It's hard. Can you tell a story in 30 seconds? I remember I used to have this debate with Matt all the time when I used to tell him, hey, it's our story, their story. Their story, your story. He'd be like, dude, I don't have that much time on the phone with people. And I'm like, well, dude, I'm not asking you to read a novel to them. It's very, very simple. I can tell a story in 15 seconds. So what I realize is that, thank you, dude, appreciate it. What I realize is that this is not intuitive. This takes skill. This takes practice. If you want to get an outcome, get good at this. This is the most important sales technique that you can ever create in your entire career. If you become a good storyteller, you will triple your sales. If you become a good storyteller, you will quadruple your recruiting. If you can get good at storytelling, you will be able to get a lot more freedom from your wife. No, I'm just kidding. Where's my wife? I'm just kidding. I get a lot of freedom. She's beautiful. But no, seriously, this is influence. This is important, right? Because this is how we understand the world. Stories are how we make understanding of noise and in the complex. So there's 5 components here I want to run through. Okay? There's a character. I have a diagram of this, which I hope will be helpful for you guys. Let's see if it's up here. Yes, perfect. Look at that. Cool. Character, problem. That character meets a guide, not a hero. They meet a guide. That guide shares a solution to the problem, and then there's some sort of resolution. That's it. That's it. So right now, ask yourself the question, pick an audience. I wrote it down at the bottom of this exercise, okay? Circle one. There are 10 different audiences, okay? Circle one. Right now, we're going to do this very quickly. What do you want to get better at? You want to get better at telling a new person that you're looking to bring into your organization, a new recruit, independent operators, team leads? Are you looking to get a new referral source to take your call and use you? Are you looking to influence a coin, a center of influence, Enrique? The community member? How about an upset client for all my RMs? Are you looking to influence and tell a story for an upset client? Somebody's rate went up 80%. Wouldn't you love to be able to tell a story to allow them to calm down for a second, communicate something? How effective is it to say, well, rates are going up? How effective is that? It's not very effective, is it? Okay? But how much more effective, and how much more effective would be like, hey, look, Tammy, I know that's really frustrating. Look, I would be upset if I were you too. Honestly, my rates have gone up 70%, so I get it too. Here's the deal. I just helped a person, her name was Julie. Her rate went up 110%. And the problem was she didn't have anywhere to go. There was no other carriers that were open. None. But the carrier that she was with, I called one of the underwriters and I asked if there was any credits. And she said there might be some credits that could be applied. So she called me back 2 days later and I found out that she didn't have a wind mitigation credit. She went and got a wind mit, reduced her rate by 40%. Now it still went up, but she's a lot happier. Is there any way I can look to see if there's maybe some options for you like that? That's a story in 15 seconds. 15 seconds. It is not an art. It is a science. It is a skill. It can be learned. So right now, did everybody have their circled? Everybody have their circled? What is the idea that you want to spread to this person, this audience member? Write it down. What do you want to share? Michelle's going, I am better than all of your other insurance agents use me. She had 7 referrals on the way down here in her car from Georgia. You know what she did? She pulled off on the side of the road and quoted them all on the side of the road. I remember we used to do that all the time. She looked at me, she goes, well, of course. What else am I going to do? That's how you do it. I just pulled my laptop out. I'm like, imagine that. Awesome stuff. Really cool. A character encounters a problem, either internal or external. The problem could be themselves and their beliefs. It could be the way they think. That's internal. External meaning the insurance company is, the big bad boogeyman and raise my rates. Okay? They meet a guide. A lot of people think that's the hero, but you don't want it to be the hero because you want the character to be the hero. You want the person you're telling the story to be the hero. The person that got the rates got the wind mitigation inspection, and they were the hero in their own story to the solution. The underwriter is not the hero. They're just the guide. A lot of you want to make yourself the hero in your stories. Hey, referral source, let me tell you why I'm so good and I helped this person and I was the hero. I have an S on my chest and if you use me, I'll be Superman for you too. That's ego related. Nobody likes that. Make them the hero. You're just a guide. You're just a guide in the story. Does that make sense? So let's do that right now. On the next page, write it out. Who's the character? What's the problem? We're going to move fast here. So let's write this. Character. What's the problem? Who's the guide? I love this. I'm like hydrating and dehydrating all at the same time. This is great. This is like my life right now. What is the solution or potential solution to the problem? Oh, by the way, I could have easily told that story like, hey, the underwriter called, they looked at everything, there was nothing that could be done. So I just want to let you know, they just didn't have the resolution was they didn't have any credits, but I'm happy to do that too. It might happen, but I just want to set expectations. I've done this 15 times and that's been the resolution. That's a story of influence too. I'm setting expectations for the fact that they're probably not going to have some reduction in cost, but I'm still telling a story. The resolution doesn't have to be a good thing. It doesn't have to be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. It's just a resolution. Depends on what influence you're trying to project. What is the solution? And then lastly, what's the resolution? And hopefully usually you'll pick a problem or a character that's probably more unique to your position and what you're dealing with right now. Right? It's probably the story that you've been telling over and over and over again maybe, and maybe it's just not concise, or maybe you've not known how to really do it, or maybe you do know how to do it, and now you're going, oh wow, I've been telling this exact story in this framework. Or maybe I've been missing one of these. Does anybody have their story done they want to share? Cool. Can we get her a mic? Lindsay, is that okay? Thank you for volunteering. Is it commercial or personal lines?
It's pretty simple. It's still a personal line.
I love it. There you go.
Well, it could be either, I guess.
Cool.
All right, so the person is new team member.
Okay, new team member. Perfect.
The team member's Mike. Mike gets frustrated and can't complete his task. I stop to go and help him, walk him through it, and make him feel good and confident while completing the task.
Look at that. Okay. Let me ask you a question. What did you put for solution?
Walk him through the task, make him feel good and confident while doing it.
Very good. Very good. Man, how hard is that? Took 10 seconds. You know, how would you tell that story to somebody else now? One more time. If you weren't talking about Mike, but you're talking to me about Mike. I'm frustrated with my tasks. You just helped Mike with this, okay? Tell me that story about Mike, and I go, Lindsay, I'm just frustrated. I got too much on my plate. There's too many tasks. The phone's right. I don't know if I can get this done. I don't know if I can get this done.
It's okay. We've all been there, and everybody has to start with that. Eventually, you learn what you're doing and feel better about it.
Cool. Let me tell you a story, Brett.
Let me tell you a story, Brett. So
there's this team member named Mike.
We have a new team member named Mike, and he was getting a little frustrated the other day. I know how important it is for him to be here and how great of a company that he's joined. So to make him feel better, I stopped what I was doing to go help walk him through it. And when he was done, he felt a lot better, and now he knows how to complete that task.
Give her a round of applause. Oh, it was awesome. Good stuff. That felt good. That was good. Anybody else? One more? Tori Scarborough? T. Skeezy? MC? Double man of the hour?
Seems like you've had the mic long enough now. I wanted you to break this down, but I got a story for you, Brett.
I love it. Tell me more.
Our number one loan officer had a deal and closing in 2 days. He couldn't get a quote back from his current guy. Sent it over, waited a whole week. His deal was gonna fall through because he couldn't get insurance. Well, I told him, hey, comes into Urban Young before 4 o'clock. We'll quote it same day. We quoted it. We called the client. We got it turned around. We bound it, and he saved his closing by going with us. By the way, his other guy never responded.
Woo, give him a round of applause. The alternative to that is to say, hey, Tori, if you use me, I'll help do more closings than your other guy. That is not a good approach. Stories sell, facts tell. Stories sell. Stories have influence. Stories make things personal. That is a fantastic story. This is too much fun. One more. Who's got one more? Seth?
You wish. The character in my story is a new potential referral partner, and the story is, hey Brett, I know you're very successful at what you do. I'm sure you have a guy. I know you said you don't want to send any business over, but just recently I worked with, Simon, another successful, lender out there. He said, he was working with a guy, but he had some frustrations, with wishing to get things back a little faster. I just said, give me a shot, and now I'm working with him, and says everything's going very smooth. Something like that.
All right, cool. So let's pick this apart. Thank you for sharing. Give him a round of applause. So hold on. I'm not done with him. We're going to keep going here. We're going to make this tight. We're going to make this tighter. So who's your character?
My character is referral source, Brett.
Brett, the referral source. What's the problem?
The problem is dealing with another agent not looking for something. Doesn't know what he doesn't know.
Let's get tighter on that. I can't understand what that problem is.
The problem is cold calling, like turning down. I made the character, like I'm the guy trying to get into sending business.
Okay, perfect.
Right.
And so the character is who? The referral source?
Yes.
So the referral source, what problem do they have? Not your problem. What problem?
Closing more business.
They want to close more business. Okay, so they encountered a problem where they're not closing the business?
Sure.
Okay, so the problem is they're missing, some closings aren't happening.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And then they meet you, the guide. You're the guide, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then the solution that you offered was what?
Give me an opportunity to show you how I work.
Okay, so is an opportunity a solution to their problem, or is that a fix to your problem?
Fair enough.
So let's get more target on it. You see where I'm going, guys?
Yes.
You see how this is important? Okay, so if their problem is they're missing some closings for their clients, what is the solution that you can bring or you would have brought to other referral sources that had the same problem?
Make the process simpler.
So you make the process simple. So your process, because it's simple, allows for more closings. So let's try this. Well, I'm going to have you do it. Write it down. Scratch that out. Write it down. Write that down. So let's do that again. So tell me the story.
So the story is, hey Brett, I know you're looking to close more business. Me and my agency, we specialize in making things simpler. Just recently, I was able to connect with another, lender who is, trying to, or he doesn't want to close more business. I've simplified the process. He is having a record year, and I would love to see if I can add that, help you there as well.
It's really good. Give him a round of applause. So one more thing, because this is important, because I'm doing this so you guys can listen and learn, because a lot of you would do the exact same thing. Even on that second time it got better, but what I want to encourage you, Seth, is to get very precise, right? 2 things. He started using me, he's having a record year. Well, why? So here's how I would tell that story, Seth. Hey, Seth, it's Brett. Listen, man, I know you got a couple seconds. I wanted to share you a story. I've been working with a guy named Joe. Joe is a competitor of yours. He's in a different market, but me and Joe hit it off. He didn't want to talk to me at first, but then he was losing business and losing closings because his agent had a very complex system. What he found is when he started working with me, he found out how simple our process was. And due to that process, he's closing more business than he's ever had, and he's having a record year. I'd love to get 5 minutes on your calendar to be able to show you that system. Sound good enough?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You see how I got really specific on that? Because if you just be abstract, it's too much, right? The riches are in the niches. We can't understand what it is unless you target it. Because they're getting 15 calls a day that says, hey, I can help you close more business, or hey, have you thought about this? Or, it's like those generic LinkedIn emails that you get. Hey, do you want to double your traffic? Hit me up on this link. You know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't resonate, but you give them something very specific, very targeted, and then you give an outcome that's directly linked to the solution. You're going to have a lot more success when you tell that story. It's good enough?
Yes, sir.
Good stuff. Good stuff. John.
Sorry, I wanted to share real quick because, I've talked to several people recently and people ask me, John, what are you doing? What are you doing? And referrals are off the roof. And this ties directly to it. And I wanted to make this point so everybody can hopefully take this back. When I call a referral partner, I'm not looking to work for them or work with them. I'm giving them an opportunity to work for me or work with me. And I present it as, hey, here's what I do. Here's why it's important to you. Here's why you want to do it. And I also add, I use a scarcity model. Hey, I've only got a little bit more capacity. So I wanted to see if you wanted to fill that spot because I can take on a little bit more workload, not a lot. If you don't understand, I got some other people I'll call, but I wanted to give you the chance. People want what they can't have if you know you can solve the problem.
Correct.
And you have to think about it. Hearing Seth made me think he was thinking about, okay, what can I do to get this person to let me work with them? No, they want to work with you. That's your attitude.
Love that. Yeah. It's great. Good thought. Thank you, John. Yeah, a lot of times when we're calling or we're telling a story, we're so concerned about our own problem, and it's about service, right? Your job is to solve their problem. So be very clear. On every single call, on every single client, on every single interaction, you should be able to identify what the problem is. That is what discovery is. If I don't know the problem and I don't know the pain, then I can't offer a solution, right? So make sure you're very clear on what that problem is and make sure you have a solution that's niche. Good thoughts, John. Appreciate that. That's great. Cool. You guys like that? Yes or yes? Yes. All right, cool. I'm going to move on here. Let's see. We're going to play that video in a second. I don't know if it's next, but. So number one, pour into new team members to spread this wildfire, okay? There's enough fuel in here and enough gas to do some big things. Number two, we got to tell authentic stories. Authentic and true stories, and we got to know how to tell those authentic, true stories, okay? A problem that's centric to the person that we're talking to, not our own, and a solution that is micro enough to be palatable and really transferable to somebody, right? Okay. I want to share this video with you because this is the last, there's three things. This is the third one. I thought this really did a really good job of articulating it. She talks about that he didn't give them a small computer in the pocket. He gave them 1,000 songs in the pocket. How many of us are trying to spread an idea based upon the cookie and not the fortune inside of it? How many people want to go through all the product knowledge and know exactly what everything does, and that's how they sell things? When 90% of the time, subconsciously or not, if you can pull that, is that slide back up there, Big Al? You pull that slide back? Oh, that is the slide, isn't it? Perfect. Perfect. Thank you, man. 90% of the time, subconsciously, we buy things off of emotion. You guys have heard that? Right? We logically justify emotional purchases. Well, that's because it's a feeling that we're purchasing. We make decisions based on feeling. We are all feeling-based organisms. You can't refuse it. It is what it is. You can pretend to be tough. You can pretend like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's your biology. You can't help it. So when we're looking to spread an idea and we're looking to influence, and when we leave here today and we want to make a massive just shift in the puddle, it is more about the way people feel when you interact with them than it is about what you articulate. So then I'd ask you, with that story, Seth, I'm getting specificity on the problem and the solution. That's the science. This is the art. This is the art. The feeling of frustration of just working your ass off as a loan officer all year only for you to get the lead, for you to nurture the lead, and for somebody to mess it up at the end, and for your reputation to be smeared, and for you to just feel embarrassed. That's the feeling that you're selling inside that cookie, right? If you can tap into that, you can tell a story and you can change the way people feel. You can be unstoppable. Yes or yes? Yes. So we're going to go through that right now. Flip to the next page. Even though the taste is mediocre at best, which is funny, I love this, John. Great thoughts on scarcity. She mentioned that right out of the gate, buddy. Right? And he sold more at $50 than he did at $10. Right? I have only a little bit of capacity. All of a sudden, people want to work with me. You say, man, I'm a brand new agent. I got nothing but time. Someone says, well, shit, I don't want to work with you. Right? So a lot to be said there. There's a feeling transferred to there. There's an emotion being transferred to there. Scarcity, fear of missing out, the feeling of, man, what if I don't get this? So even though the taste is mediocre at best, the fortune cookie is one of the most beloved and popular cookies on the planet. Do you have those? Want to pass those out? Let's do it. Dude, Rod's awesome. He goes, dude, I love this. I'm getting fortune cookies for everybody. So you guys get fortune cookies. Pretty cool. Who doesn't love a fortune cookie? They're awesome. And they taste terrible. You would think somebody would create a good tasting fortune cookie, you know? I don't know. Not buying a cookie. The attraction to the product is not the cookie itself, but rather the feeling it evokes when you read the secret message inside. Subconsciously, all of us buy ideas, products, and people based on the feeling that they give us. Write that down. All right, you can go ahead and read it first. I know you want to read the fortune. Go read the fortune. Read the fortune. If anybody's going to win the lottery later, let me know. I'll switch you cookies. So let's go through this exercise. And let's get to that feeling. Let's get to the feeling. So real quick, number one, what feeling do you want to evoke when selling your fortune cookie to a prospective insured? To an insured, prospect. Enrique, what feeling do you want to give to a prospective insured? There's no right or wrong answer, but I'm just going to trust. You want to give them the feeling of trust. That's really good. Anybody else? Eric Atzma. Peace of mind. I want to give them the peace of mind feeling. Great. Who else? Accomplishment. So working with you and working with them, they're going to feel a sense of accomplishment. That's really cool. I've never heard that. I like that. Anybody else? Last one? Emmer? What is it? Loyalty. A sense of loyalty. A feeling of loyalty. I hear connection. Very cool. Awesome. Write that down. Write that down, guys. Don't overthink this. We're going to move fast. Write that down for number one. Number two, there is no right or wrong here. It's just you. Because remember what we said? It's got to be authentic and true to you. Number two, what feeling do you want to evoke? Thank you, ma'am. What feeling do you want to evoke in a referral partner or a community member when you prospect them? Trust. You want immediately when you prospect them to feel trust? You want them to trust you. So when you call them and you've never talked to somebody before, the feeling when you hang up the phone is you want them to trust you. Okay? Security. So when you got a community member or somebody that you're prospecting and potentially send you business, you want them to feel secure, that they can, it's safe, that they can trust you. Okay, cool. That's fair. Cared for. You want them to feel cared for. Okay? Or maybe their clients will feel cared for, which is probably more trust driven. But yeah, go ahead. What is it?
Curiosity.
Curiosity. So you want them to feel curious. I like that, right? You're like, hey, I just want them to get off the phone and feel interesting. I'm interested to hear more about this. That's really good. Really, really good. Yep. Understanding. You want them to feel understood. Them to feel understood or you to feel understood? Them to feel understood. Okay, really good. Yep.
I want to feel like it's a potential friendship that could happen.
Ooh. I want them to feel like this could be a potential friendship. Really good. Yep. I want them to feel excited. Ooh. So you want energy. You want them to feel, man, this is good. I don't know what this is, but I'm excited for more. Like that. Very good. Write that down. Number 3, what feeling do you want to evoke when you're talking to a new team member? Inspired? Inspired. So new team member, they're brand new here. You're articulating a process or something that's the cookie, but you want them to feel inspired. Cool. Love that. Oh, inspired to do it. Yep. You want them to feel a sense of joy. Okay. Passion. You want them to feel or do you want them to feel your passion? Got it. You want them to feel heard. Oof, that's good. I like that. Susanna. Everybody give Susan a round of applause. The OG. Yep. A sense of belonging. Oof. That's really good. Part of the team. A sense of belonging. Inclusion. We'll come back to that later. That's really good. Yep. Feel welcomed. Very much connected. Very, very good. All right, write that down. Number 3. Number 4, what feeling do you want to evoke when you're talking and working with a team member who just isn't getting it in their role? All my leaders, raise your hand. Who loves to have those conversations? Let's call what it is, guys. We're a team, and it's all sunshine and rainbows, but not all of us do everything all the time. And part of loving people is sometimes you got to have conversations, right? That's just how it goes. But what feeling, and how many times have you had to have this conversation and you recite it in the mirror? You're like, damn, I don't want to mess this up. I don't want to mess this up. I like this person. We have a friendship. But I don't want to mess this up. I don't know how to articulate this. So I'm going to practice in my mirror, Tisa, sit down. I'm going to need you to tell me if this is good or not, right? The cookie. But what feeling do you want them to feel? Adam. Ownership. You want them to feel ownership. Okay, great. What else? Susan. She said, I want them to feel like they're not alone. Maybe share a story where you had the same challenge from past experiences so they know that it's not unique to them. Really, really good. Yep. Connected. Cool. That you still love them. Good stuff. Hold on 1 second, Gene. Who is that? Matt? Yep. Do you want them to feel? Yeah, how does that feeling translate? Let's try to translate that. You want them to see from your perspective or a different perspective, but what's the feeling that you want them walking away with? I'll come back to you.
Mine's kind of similar. Mine was clear on what their goals would be.
Clear on what their goals be, but when they leave that, what do you want them to feel? Clarity? You want them to feel clarity? Hopeful? Okay. Matt takes pinkies. True team builder, I love it. Yeah. Cared for. You want them to feel cared for. No matter what happens, when they leave that conversation, they feel cared for. It's good. Supported. So no matter what the conversation, even though it's usually challenging and they're not up to par, that they feel supported leaving that conversation. Love that. Emmer. Say that one more time. I like hope for that. Is that fair? That they feel hopeful for what's to come? That they have faith that it's going to work out? They have hope that it's going to get better? Or they have hope that it's going to be okay? Okay, cool. Yep. Motivated. You want them to feel motivated. Okay, love that. Write that down. Number 5, what feeling do you want to get or do you want to give and evoke when you're looking to recruit a new prospective team member? TY. Optimistic. Love that. Powerful, powerful emotion. Yes, sir. FOMO. Nothing to be said about that. Write that down. Yep. Excited. Confident. Write it down. Write it down. The cookie is not what you are selling. You are selling the feeling somebody gets when they read the message inside. So now, let's go back to the story. So if you go back to your story that you wrote down, if you keep this in mind, would you change the way that you tell it? The story that you wrote down, would you change the way you tell it? Would you alter anything? Would you move anything around? How would you look at it? Is it exactly the way you would keep it? Anybody want to look at it? Be brave enough? Would anybody change anything? What would you change?
Harped on it, but I think before I was not considering how they felt. I just wanted something.
Okay, you wanted something.
But I always am calling and I'm just prospecting to be like, hey, give me this. I don't care how you feel. I just want you to.
Interesting.
Send me the.
Love the self-awareness, Seth. That's so cool, man. Cool. All right. So how would you change the way you tell it?
Trying to observe more, but ask more questions. Try to observe.
So that story, go back to the story. I'm not going to let you off the hook. Go back to the story.
Cool. I didn't want to make everybody go do it.
Sounds good. Go back to the story.
Yeah.
What would you put in there? Would you put a word? Would you put an adjective? Would you change it around? Would you tell? What would you put in there? I'll come back to you. Anybody else want to raise your hand? Would you change the story? Did everybody write that? Did it sound like you were selling the feeling when you wrote the story?
I was going to say that I would change, my resolution was not about, their feeling at all, and I needed to make it about the feeling. Because my resolution was not about the feeling at all, which I know Ron could probably attest to is my default sometimes. But the resolution needs to be about the way they're feeling.
Oh man, give her a round of applause. The resolution needs to be about the feeling that you want them to leave with. So if you saved them money as the resolution, they felt accomplished because they saved some money by working with you. If you saved their deal, they felt proud and confident in front of the buyer because they didn't have a missed closing. Do you see how they translate? Do they see how they translate? All of us are doing something for feelings. All of us. All of us. But it gets so messy. We just objectify everything. We want to make everything about the cookie. It's got to be about the feeling that somebody gets after the transaction is done, after the resolution is done. You could still list the resolution objectively, but you got to tie the feeling back to it. You got to tie the feeling back to it. The number one skill to master, if you want to move any business or any idea or any person, is a deep connection and a feeling towards an idea or a product. It's the number one skill. If you want to blow up a big business, a lot of you have looked at me last night. You're like, I'm ready to blow this thing open. This is the number one thing. The number one thing. Feelings cannot be commoditized. They cannot be commoditized. It doesn't matter what happens to you. The market can shift. It can get hard. It can get soft. It can move. It can translate. It can do all these things. It doesn't matter. You can have 15 competitors pop up in your area. It doesn't matter. If someone gets energy and is excited every time that they leave you, Ava, they can't commoditize that. That is your unique gift. That is powerful. If that's the feeling that someone leads with you, you have something that can't be replicated. Feelings resonate beyond the product. How do you tie the feeling to it? Ed Milet says, to the extent that you can transfer this skill to other people is to the extent that you can scale your business. Team builders in the room, it is not enough to be able to tell a story. It is not enough to be able to influence behavior. You have to teach other people how to do the same thing. How many times are you spending time on underwriting, but you're not teaching on influence? You're not teaching on the skill set that's going to help you be successful. This is what we mean about we don't train about insurance at the summit. Some of you showed up and said, man, I wish I could learn about more underwriting and how to sell more policies. Well, the cat's out of the bag. I'm just going to show you how to build a multi-million-dollar whatever you want. You can leave here tomorrow. You're not even part of Urban Young. Take this with you. This translates into anything in your life, anything. This is the number one skill if you want to move any idea or product. It has to go beyond you. It can't be about you. You have to be able to teach people. And this is what the difference is between us and if we leave here today and where we show up next year is the ability for there are people in the room that don't have influence, that don't know how to do this. How are we going to get them to the fact where they can do this? The teaching of this is important. Leaders in the room, this is your responsibility. This is my responsibility. You can't just tell somebody influence is important. You have to break it down. You have to understand the art. You have to understand the science. You have to be aware enough to know that people don't know what you know. You can't just recite it over and over again and think people are going to get it. You got to work with people. So then the next question is, okay, Brett, that sounds great. How do I do this? How do I do this? Leaders in the room, repetition. Write this down. This is important. When you leave here, you're not going to remember this. Please, you're going to revert back to this as your notes. Okay? It's very, very important. Because this should be part of your every single day of what you do with your team. It doesn't matter what position somebody sits in, every single person this is relevant to. Be patient and continue to reinforce the importance of this skill. Be patient and continually reinforce it. It should be in your huddles. It should be in your calls. It should be in your coaching sessions. It should be in the event after the event when you're having drinks after work. It should be repeated over and over again. Because when you repeat, all of a sudden it will become a priority. Okay? It will become instilled in the culture. Number 2, we've got to role play, man. You got to role play. Look, we don't like scripts. But you might need to script it for people in the beginning. They're babies. They don't even know where to start. We give people all this concept and abstract. No, tell them what to say. No. Pick up the phone right now. Well, no, I don't want to pick up the phone. Pick up the phone. I'm going to tell you exactly what to say. You got to role play with people. You got to put people in uncomfortable positions. Have them tell a story. Don't just take it. Go back. Ask them to do it again. And then debrief and ask them what they learn. You can do this in your huddles every week. You can do this once a month. You can make this fun, okay? This freaks people out, but it's okay. It's right outside the comfort zone, which is where growth is, okay? You got to role play. You got to role play, okay? We got to encourage energy. Encourage energy. Lack of energy is a lack of leadership. People are attracted to energy. You can light somebody else on, you can't light somebody else on fire when you leave here if you're not lit. People are like a moth to a flame. They're attracted to energy. If you think you're going to have influence and spread an idea without energy, you're mistaken. You're mistaken. Energy doesn't mean you have to be an extrovert. But it does mean if my tone is this and I'm telling a story, when I want to emphasize something, I'm going to do this real quick and then I'm going to go right back to this. Communication is about a change in pattern. It's not living like this all the time in energy. It's just a change in pattern. So if I live down here, but if I do this real quick and I come back to this, that's a change in pattern. Which means someone goes and they come in a little bit because they're attracted to energy. Does that make sense? Yes or yes? Yes. All right. Encourage energy. When you're around the office, you got to recognize it. You got to recognize enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is important. It's not rah-rah. It's called life. It's called optimism. It's called hope. It's important. You want to recognize somebody for asking for an auto lead or asking for a 5-star review. When's the last time you recognized somebody for their attitude when they walk in the office? When's the last time you recognized someone said, man, your enthusiasm is ridiculous? Enthusiasm. Positive, optimistic energy that has influence on people. That's how you do this. And as leaders, we need to encourage that. We need to see that in people, because the behaviors that you recognize will be the behaviors that are repeated. Write that down. The behaviors that you recognize will be the behaviors that are repeated. We're going to do a little activity real quick, and we're going to close this out. So, who likes the fortune cookie concept? Does it make sense? Can you relate it to your own story? Can you relate it to how you're going to go out here and tell that story? Right? Let's walk through this real quick. With clients, what is the product? What's the cookie? Policies. Protection. Insurance products. Very simple, right? What's the feeling? Peace, safety, security. Hey Siri, what does indemnification mean? Peace of mind. Interesting. Okay. Anything else?
Also the bad feelings.
What's that?
There's also the bad feelings they have where you can try to secure and ease, I guess.
Okay. Special. I like that. What else? When somebody calls you, they have an insurance product, they call you, what's a feeling that you want to give them? I'm not talking about just the sales process. I'm talking about relationship managers right now too. When they call you for something, are they looking to feel a sense of security and protection and peace? Important, achievement, convenient. Convenience, not a feeling. That's a cookie. Relief, clarity, cared for. When they hang up the phone, they want to feel cared for. They want protection. They want peace of mind. They want that. But someone's been with us for 5 years. They don't call wanting to feel protected. They don't want to feel peace of mind. Bullshit. They want to know that you care. They want to know you care. When you don't respond to them and it takes a long time, what do they feel? Not cared for. They want to feel cared for. We offer a service. We have a product, but we offer a service. The relationship manager in the room, you are the backbone of this company because you are the product delivery. The salespeople are not the product delivery. They are the distribution arm, but they are not the product. You are the product. When somebody calls in because they have a bill and they are freaking out because they don't have insurance and they got a cancellation in the mail, do they feel cared for when they hang up the phone, or do they not feel important? Referral partners. Convenience. Who said it? Was it Maddie? I'm done. Oh, that's good. Fast and competitive. Fast and competitive. Call it what you want. Well, they really care about coverage. No, they don't. No, they don't. They want to be competitive and they want to be fast. It doesn't mean it's not important, but what they want and the product that we deliver is it's fast and it's competitive. That's it. That's it. So understand what you're selling. Understand what the cookie. What do they want to feel? What do they want to feel? Prioritized. Oh, important. Oh my goodness. It's like he's been here for 5 years. Important. Yeah, here. Gosh, I'm going to do that. What did he throw yesterday? Was it an energy drink? He threw that thing like nobody's business. He just, I was like, that's going to hit somebody in the head. Amanda's going to have to get us a waiver for the speaker next year. No, that's very good. Very, very good. Very good. So how about our insurance partners? What's the product to them? What are we selling to them? What's the cookie that we're selling to our insurance carriers? Profitability? I hear volume. Profitable growth. That's what we do. That's what we do. If you call a carrier for an appointment, they want to know that you are a profitable growth engine for them. And make no mistake, if they find another outlet to have more profitable growth than us, they will replace us. So let's call it what it is. This is business. This is important that we understand this. This is important. That's why you write good business. This is why it's important that you have volume. This is why agents get terminated. This is important. This is what we do for them. This is our cookie. But what do they want to feel? They want to feel partnership. But what comes in a partnership, Matt? Why do they want a partnership? Loyalty. Why do they want loyalty? They want profitable growth. How about they want to be the priority? They know you got 20 carriers, but they want to know that you quote us first. Yeah, I know you got 20 carriers, but we're special. We're different, right? This is a partnership, which is right. I was just prying. They want to know that they're priority. It's like, we're not on the radar. Don't use the radar. Just go directly to us. You know? They want to feel the priority. That's important. That's why it's important that we make sure we know who our best partners are, that we truly do live up to that and make them the priority. Does that make sense? So when you're leaving a feeling of a carrier meeting, and Adam's been crushing those, when they leave and they show you all the stuff, what they really want to know is, hey man, are we a priority still or not? And if they can't go, we're a priority, then they might have to make some decisions and find somebody else that's going to make them a priority. Team members, our product is what? Opportunity. Creating extraordinary lives. That's what we do. It's in our tagline. We promote it. It's the spark that you wrote down today. There's all these success stories that are happening, the highlights on a podcast, everything that we do. It is to create a vehicle for opportunity. But what is the feeling, guys? Being part of something. Good job, Leslie. That's great. What else? What's the feeling? What's the feeling? What do you want to feel? You want to feel empowered. You want to feel appreciated. Validated.
Successful.
You want to feel successful? You want to feel valued. Team members want to feel valued. They want to feel valued. Yeah, they want the opportunity. Yeah, it's important. But when the rubber meets the road, I want to know that the skill sets that I bring to the table and the person that I am is appreciated. I'm valued here. Cookie feeling. What is the, which is funny that we do this exercise because you look at that. What is the common denominator from all four of those feelings? By the way, do you know why these four are up here? Clients, referral sources, insurance partners, and team members. Everybody know the answer to that? Matt, don't worry. You can still guess. Ecosystem. Ecosystem. Everybody give Matt a round of applause. All right. It's the ecosystem, and all of them have an underlying feeling. This is not in order, but who's the number one stakeholder in our ecosystem? Team members. And when I look at these cared for, important, priority, valued, what is the underlying feeling? If this wildfire is the feeling that we're going to leave here and spread, it's the feeling that you feel. If that's the priority, that's what we're trying to do, and we look at all of our stakeholders, cared for, important, priority, valued, They're all derivatives of what word? What word? Love, man. I got goosebumps. I got goosebumps, man. See, our wildfire is not a flame, man. It's a feeling. It's a feeling of belonging. It's a feeling of love. People come here for the opportunity, but they stay here because of the feeling that they get from this culture. You know why? Because love always wins. Love always wins. It's what you did last night. It's the feeling that you feel in this room. It's the feeling that you felt yesterday when the MCs were up there ripping it. It's the connection between all the people in here. Because love is attractive. Because love draws you in. Because love lifts you up. Because love helps people believe in themselves when they don't believe in themselves. We're ordinary people doing extraordinary things. But only because of what we did last night and the connections of the people in this room. It is the way you treat each other. It's the way you care for each other. We are anything but perfect. None of us. And it gets messy, man. It gets messy. And if it's not messy for you yet, it's going to get messy for you. But what we have always held to the highest standard of this company is love. It is love. It is the highest character trait that makes up this company and makes up this culture. That's why this is important. If you want to make an impact, you got to have love. If you want to feel alive, you got to have love. Leaving this place and understanding what we're doing. You want to feel better in your life, confident in your life, gives to other people, feel purpose in your life. You've got to have love. Life and love go hand in hand. Write these 4 things down. Life and love are interconnected. You can take a seed that is set isolated without any love, no sunlight, no water, no nothing, for 5,000 years. It sits there dormant. There's no life. You take the same seed, you put it in the earth, and you give it the love that it needs. Sunlight, water, nutrients. What do you get? You get life. The same is true with a baby and a mother. They are interconnected. You cannot have life without love. The same is true with laughter. The same is true with laughter. Laughter without love is cruel. It destroys marriages. It has ruined friendships and it splits up families. But laughter with love is joy to the soul. It's medicine to the soul. It's the laughter you guys heard last night. The same is true with labor. Labor without love is drudgery. It's awful. But labor with love is bliss. It's why painters paint. It's why singers sing. It's why many of you do what you do in this room. And lastly, listening with love or listening without love is just empty sound. But listening with love, that's understanding. It's how we perceive the world. See, sound without listening it's just, there's no meaning to it. There's no interpretation to it. It's how we view the world. It's how we understand it. But with empty sound, there's nothing. So if we know that this concept of love is so powerful, and we know that it transforms anything that it touches, then why don't we love full out? Why don't we love full out? Why do we reserve it? Why do we hold it back? Why is it weird? Why does nobody want to talk about it? Because we let people in and they let us down. They hurt us. Because it's painful. Well, guess what? Guess what? I'm asking you to love them anyway. I'm asking you to love them anyway. Loving other people is not for them. It is for you. It is for you. Don't love to get love back. Don't love to get love back. Love for it to light up your soul. Love is at the center of team building. It is team building. It is at the center of doing anything great. If you want to make an impact, you've got to have love. It's got to be the center. It's the only thing I care about, is the way you guys treat each other. It's the way you love each other. When we leave here, I want to do 3 things. Write this down. When we leave here, you say, Brent, this is great, but what do we got to do? Number 1, Joe, if you're thirsty, you're dying of thirst, and I give you an empty cup, can you quench your thirst? If there's nothing in this cup and you are thirsty and I give you a cup and I say, drink from this, and there's nothing in it, can you quench your thirst? You can't, because you can't quench a thirst from an empty cup. Some of you and some of us are trying to love other people right now or receive love from other people, but you have an empty cup. You have an empty cup. You can't give to another human being unless you fill your own cup. That's why we're a personal development company that happens to sell insurance. You got to love yourself. That's number 1. You got to love you, man. You got to fill your cup. We don't read 10 pages of a good book a day for skill set. We read 10 pages of a good book a day so I become bulletproof. So I know that I'm special, that I know that I'm loved, that I don't get my worth from somebody else. My worth is not dictated by the world. I get my self-worth from me. You got to lift yourself up, man. You got to fill your cup. That is self-love. That is self-love. So when you leave here, gravitate towards personal development like your life depends on it, because it does. Because it does. Because you are incapable of truly receiving love from another person or giving love fully to another person unless you love yourself. So when you leave here, make a decision that you're going to commit to personal development. For you. Number 2, we got to love others, man. We got to love others. We got to go out in our community and we got to give, man. We got to give. It's not about our problem. It's about other people's problems. We got to give. Where's my marketers in the room? Where's my marketers in the room? You want to zoom your way to success. All day long, you want to zoom because it takes too much time to drive to people's offices and see the whites in their eyes. You want to zoom your way to success. Well, guess what, guys? You know the reason we do belly to belly? You know why we do belly to belly? Belly to belly mean person to person. I can see the whites in your eyes. Do you know why we do that? Because love is perceived better in person. You can tell that I care about you when I'm with you. There's only so much you can do on a phone call and on a Zoom. So when you leave this place, get in front of as many people as you can and tell them that you care about them. You got referral sources that you want them to use you? Get in front of them, tell them you care. Make them feel that this could be a friendship for life. Let them know you care. Some of you want the fanciest product. You want a mousetrap so you can be better than everybody else to be able to have an advantage. Well, how do you compete in a crowded market with the same products? You care more than the next person. And number 3, love each other. Love each other. It's loving the people that are in this room. It's doing what you did last night. It's doing what you're going to do today. It's introducing your spouse to your colleagues. It's integrating your life in your work. It's saying, that's just not somebody I work with. That's somebody I care about. Culture is the only thing that we have ever had an advantage on. Ever. We've never been the smartest. We've never been the fastest, and we never will be. But what we do better than anybody else is we create environments where people love each other. And as a result, everybody from the outside looks into this room and they ask themselves this question: what do I got to do to be part of this? Something about them's just different. How do I create this with my own teams? Wow, I don't know what it is. There's just something different. The fortune cookie inside this business is the opportunity that we create for our team members. It is creating extraordinary lives. And guys, but the message that sits inside the little cookie, the message, the little thing that you just opened, it says these simple, timeless, most important words. You are loved.
Learning how to live when there's no one around. It's like learning how to feel when the drugs run out. You can see my scars, cause I'm wearing them proud. Even with my broken parts, I feel better now. If I could crawl in the mind and give any advice to my younger self, find something you can hold on to. Find someone who'll be there for you, cause that's all that really matters in the end. Find somewhere you can come home to. Find someone that'll die for you, cause that's all that really matters in the end. It's love, love, cause that's all that really matters in the cause it's all that really matters in the end. It's hard to tell the truth when you lie to yourself. Always give too much of you to someone else. I'm talking to you now like we're old friends. It'll never be too late to start again. Find something you can hold on to. Find someone who'll be there for you, cause that's all that really matters in the end. Find somewhere you can come home to. Find someone that'll die for you, cause that's all that really matters in the end. It's love, love, cause that's all that really matters in the end. Find something you can hold on to. Find someone who'll be there for you, cause that's all that really matters in the end. Find somewhere you can come home to. Find someone that'll die for you, 'cause that's all that really matters in the end. It's love, 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 because that's all that really matters in the end. It's love, 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 love. It's all that really matters in the end. 'Cause it's all that really matters in the end. 'Cause it's all that really matters in the end.
I got back out of the country, got in another Uber, met another gentleman from Dominican Republic. 25-year career, Fortune 500 company, successful dude, driving an Uber. It's like, man, why do you do this? He said, well, you spend your whole life working with these people, and then you go back to your house, segregated away from everybody else. And every once in a while, the company throws a Christmas party, and you think that these people that you spent 25 years with, you'd still have relationships with, but I'm lonely. It's just me and my wife. My kids are grown. They're gone. And he goes, we do it wrong. We do it wrong. Because when it's all said and done and you accomplish everything that you want to accomplish, I wish I would have had more relationships that I spent so much time with. It's a quarter of my life, and now I don't even keep in touch with them. I hope you remember this for the rest of your life. When we do this, it is to create an experience where you get to connect with the people that you're sitting right next to right now. And I hope is that in 25 years, when you're done with this, that these are the people that you go play golf with. These are the people that come to your 6-year-old birthday. That these are the relationships of godfathers and godmothers. These are your neighbors. Because you're going to spend more time with the people in this room than almost anybody in your life. Everybody wrote down the spark of what they want to achieve, but the only reason you want to achieve it, that's the cookie. The only reason you want to achieve it is the message inside that says, I'm worthy. I did something special. I feel a certain way because I accomplished it. That feeling is available to you right now. In this moment, you do not have to wait 20 years to accomplish anything. You can have it right now. That's what we sell. That's what we do. That is the only thing that I care about. That's it. And as long as there is breath in my body and I get the opportunity to sit in front of this stage in front of you, it is the only thing that I care about. Is the way we love the people around us. So when we leave here and you say, what can I do? Love the people around you. When a client calls and they're pissed off, love them. Well, they're rude to me. Love them anyway. It's not for them, it's for you. When a referral partner stops using you because they say you're slow and you don't have good rates, and they talk behind your back at a community event. Love them anyway. When a team member says something and you hear about it, love them anyway. Love them anyway. This vehicle This company is a construct to deliver this message to as many people as possible. And you are the tip of the spear. You are the people to leave this place and deliver that feeling. Our fortune cookie is the opportunity that we create for our team members. But the little piece of paper inside that, it says, you are loved. You are loved. That is the most important thing that every new person should believe and understand when they leave this place, is you are special and you belong here and you are important. And there are people that have not even showed up yet that are looking for this opportunity because they don't have this. They don't have this. Because they're still searching for their worthiness from outside too. And guess what? You have the antidote. You have the solution. You have that life-changing thing that they're on their knees praying to God every single night for. It's right here in front of you. Do you have enough courage to tell people about it? This is it, guys. This is our time. We have done 13 years for this moment. Right now, this year, the most important moment. How much of it are you going to get? How much are you going to be a part of? What do you want? How important is it for you to get what you put on that spark? And how big of a price are you willing to pay to get your dreams? The chance. You have the chance. The chance. The opportunity. Do you know how important that is? Do you know what that means to have the chance? People are coming from all over the world just for the chance. They can't speak the language. They don't know anybody. Just for the chance that it could happen. And you're sitting in a moment where it's almost guaranteed if you just do the work. Every single person in this room has something that they want. And I promise you, I want you to get it. I will do everything in my power to make sure you get it. You just got to do your part. You just got to do your part. I love what we do. I love what we stand for. This is so much more than business to me. And I invite you to feel the same way. Because if you feel that way, you might just be able to impact somebody else to feel the same way. Thank you.